Alright, we've been over the SPT Realism mod and the Sane mod, so it's time to tackle the famous SWAG+Donuts mod. It's a combo title just like the mod itself, as Swag was once a separate mod before the two combined. Donuts handles PMC and scav spawns, while Swag is for the bosses. They were fated to be one. Commonly known as just Donuts, this mod has become essential to the SPT experience and is required by many, if not most users. It is, however, very complex under the hood and can prove intimidating for newbies and experts alike. Fortunately, it does a lot of the work on its own while providing plenty of settings to manipulate. Like with the Sane mod, the Waypoints mod is also required for Donuts, and it's very compatible all around. It's very commonly used with other major mods like Realism, and many have been pre-configured to adjust themselves when used together. Now, what does Donuts do exactly? Well, it's an overhaul for the bot spawn system in Tarkov that works indefinitely, spawning configurable waves of AI for the player to contend with for however long they're in a raid. We can choose from a variety of scenarios that describe how the bots will appear, great for dynamic and immersive raids. This is very much the solution for the empty raid problem, when vanilla bots eliminate each other entirely, leaving the player without opportunities to fight. All of the specifics can be found on the SWAG+Donuts mod page, which is replete with an outline of every feature and explains more than I could here. Be sure to read it thoroughly and check for any compatibility problems with your current configuration. Today we'll demonstrate how to use Donuts in-game to influence bot spawns and go over how it makes use of the Waypoints mod. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see demonstrated in the comments after the video. Also, before I get started, SPT-AKI 3.8.1 has been released and some mods are already being updated as of April the 5th, but I'll be waiting to update until my entire mod list is ready, and there will be a video when that time comes. Alright, let's load into the reserve map for today's demonstration. Alright everyone, welcome to Reserve. As you can see in the top right, I am using the CWX bot debugging tool to show the number of bots that I've got in the raid right now. And it includes also how many, or what zones they occupy rather. So, there's the total bots at the top there. And then for each zone, it lists how many bots are there. I actually haven't gone in this way since vaulting was implemented. Can I... Oh, what? Really? Oh my god, it's not possible to vault onto this vehicle here and then up into the hole? Oh man, I would have thought that was obvious. Ah, there we go. I just have to sort of be a little higher up. I have to be standing on that tank there in order to climb up this. Okay, not all is lost. I was about to be really upset. It is indeed possible to vault up into that area. Okay, cool. In the Waypoints menu, the Donuts entry is where you'll be doing your primary interface with it, usually selecting a raid preset, as you can see here. There's a separate one for PMCs, just like there is for scavs, and you can see in the list they all pop up. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory by their titles, but they are thoroughly described on the Donuts mod page, and you should go there to check them all out if you're curious about what they do, and if you're looking for a specific kind of raid. What I like to do is try to engineer something that works for me all across the board. Now that involves doing a lot of work with Sane as well, to make the bots behave in specific ways, but the waves that they spawn in contribute greatly to my performance, or the lack thereof in some cases. So typically I use quiet raids to increase my performance during raids, and that usually has the least amount of bots available in each of these presets. That's different from something like Live-like, which makes something very close to what Live Tarkov is like in terms of like spawning bots, but it won't stop at a certain point. The difference is that Donuts will keep them spawning indefinitely for as long as the raid goes on. There's also something like Boss Mania, which causes the bots to spawn every time and also all of their guards, and even the starting PMCs only, which are raids that only provide PMC spawns at the beginning of a raid, which is a bit more like Live Tarkov in that it's like players spawning in, and then there won't be any more after those ones. Now the titles are a little confusing sometimes, and that's because each of these are presets containing different wave types, so there are multiple waves programmed into, say, Quiet Raids Random. These two right here are a combination of the most intense and the least intense wave types, of course meaning that you would get more spawns and fewer spawns respectively. As you can see, we've started on the Quiet Raids Random preset, and we've got a total of 17 bots in the raid right now. That number is influenced by the settings set elsewhere here in this Waypoints entry, and we'll go over that here really quickly. So the default spawns for most of these waves are actually pretty high in my opinion, and I think they need to be brought down for the sake of performance, and also for the sake of immersion in most cases, at least for me. This Donuts toggle obviously needs to be on in order for the mod to function. The hard cap option here will prevent any new bots from spawning if you're currently at your total bot count for this Donuts preset. This right here is the cooldown timer for new bots to spawn, and I have it turned all the way up to 1,000. For the sake of performance, I keep the Donuts PMC group chance off at none. For the next raid, I'm going to set it to default. For Donuts Scav group chance, I have it low, and I'm also going to move that to default for the next raid. And these right here are actually just the regular EFT, like the game difficulty levels. This is the same as the selection before raid, it's just a shortcut and you can set it permanently basically. Obviously these two are the raid selection presets, and I'm going to change this up for the next raid so that we can see the difference. I'll choose impossible raids for the next one. This setting actually shows the random scenario that's selected on raid start in the bottom right, and you've probably seen that in my videos before, but I'll show it again now. Section 2 has additional spawn settings. You can force a PMC faction to spawn, you can force a bot type for all spawns, you can set a hard stop for PMCs or scavs, so at a certain time left in the raid there will no longer be any more spawns of that type. You can also use hotspots to increase the amount of PMCs or scavs that come in. Sections 3 and 4 have to do with the minimum spawn distance between players and other bots when they do come in during waves. You can set the minimum distance for each of the maps with these values here. And this determines how far away a bot needs to be from you or from other bots in order to spawn in the next wave. Now for the advanced settings, they come in at the bottom, and these get a little bit more specific. I use these for performance for the most part. This has the max spawn tries for bots, and you can see here, it'll stop trying to spawn one of the bots after this many attempts to find a good spawn point. And the lower this number, the better your performance should be. I would usually have this at a low number, like say 10. We'll set that for the next raid. And this right here is the despawn bot interval, says here. This value is the number in seconds that donuts should despawn bots. The default is 10 seconds. If you were to decrease this value, meaning that bots would despawn more often, it would take more performance. These settings down here are definitely far too specific for me, and I haven't needed to use them yet. They all seem to have pretty informative tooltips and are further explained in the mod page, so I encourage you to go investigate that if you'd like to know what each of them does specifically. We'll make use of this section in the next raid to show the actual spawn sites, and we'll do the same with the Waypoints mod to show how the spawn locations have been expanded beyond the vanilla sites. I hear some running outside already. They're probably out in the middle, or running beyond. Manipulating these scenarios, or they used to be called scenarios anyways, now they seem to be called raid presets, is definitely how to change up the spawns and the bots that you have available to you in most, if not all, raids. And you can, of course, like you saw, you can get very specific with it. Oh, I guess I'm not being chased. Oh, there's that guy right there. What's he doing? Is he fighting? Just taking cover? Whoa, some lag on that scope. All this activity is definitely more than I usually have in my raids. I've tried to tune it up, at least for this raid, so that the spawns would be a little bit higher. But as you can see, it takes quite a toll on my performance while I'm recording, and it brings my frame rates down, and I try to keep it as smooth as I can for the sake of these videos. But I just want to demonstrate that it does actually work. You can very much influence the way that bots spawn in, and how many you get to fight and interact with, how many are out there dealing with one another, and how you can fix the problem of empty raids when bots kill each other and there's no one left to deal with, because that's really just no good. I mean, it may be lore friendly for that to happen, but it's bad from the player's perspective. It's just bad for a video game, because each raid should provide opportunities to loot and to fight, gain experience and all that stuff. And it just doesn't do any good for bots to be acting far away from the player, doing things that the player can't influence and can't benefit from. It's bad for performance, and also just sort of... Whoa, did you see that? I spotted him just at the very last moment. I think I could probably hit him right through here, right? Wow, he like got down and successfully evaded my shot, I think. Like I said, up there in the top right, you can see the total number of bots currently active in this raid, and even the zones, or at least which zones are occupied and how many bots are in them. I mostly just want to make sure that the mod is running, and running properly. Oh, whoa! That was pretty crazy. I think he was just like breaking out into a sprint off to the right over there, and I shot him, and his momentum carried his body. That was pretty crazy. But yes, now we're down to 15. As I've demonstrated before, bots and the things that they do are one of the most taxing factors about SPT when it comes to performance on hardware, because there's so many things that they can do with the expanded sane behaviors, for example, and we've gone over that. When they're more active, when they're doing more things, when they're fighting and shooting guns and making sound effects happen especially, which is different, you know, per map I suppose, it takes much more toll on one's PC system than when there are fewer bots doing fewer things. Oh, he's right out there. What'll he do? Oh, he's just gonna walk in. Okay, he has like... his weapon was close to him. He wasn't ready to fight me coming into that door. That was strange. a bad move on his part. When it comes to the most immersive settings that I find most enjoyable, I suppose, for SPT, I tend to think and find that fewer bots is better. I think that it would be most lore-friendly, it would be most immersive to encounter fewer entities in general in Tarkov, and also have the chance to encounter between 1 and 3 groups of PMCs, because that's, I think, what would be one of the most reliable encounters in Tarkov. It would be groups of PMCs doing what I'm doing, basically going around to, you know, fight and loot. They'd be working, oh wow, together. Whoa! To do that, and scavs would be independent. I suppose it's possible to run into a group of scavs, but mostly I'd be running into scavs just on their own. This is bizarre and disturbing in a few different ways. And he's just gonna stay there, so for my own peace of mind, I'll plant an explosive on that door and just run away for now. But that's what I generally find most appealing in SPT, and what I want out of raids for the most part. That's generally what I try to get out of my raids here. Not always for the sake of videos. Sometimes I try to increase my encounter rate, for example, for the sake of the videos, to more easily demonstrate mods. And their effects and stuff like that. I'll just run over here. We can see that the numbers get replenished. One of the most useful things about that debugging tool up in the right showing the bot totals is that you can see when new bots are spawning in. It's very encouraging because there used to be a long time when I would struggle with that and find that eventually all the bots would kill each other, and there would be none left. And then I'm just left alone in the raid. But now there are so many bots that my frame rates are low, and it's taxing on my system. Sorry for the performance, everybody. Just trying to demonstrate donuts is all. I get so many comments and questions about this mod in general. Now, as you'll see in the next raid, we're just going to load up a fresh raid back into this same map, and I'll pull up the debugging interface so that you can see where the spawn sites are, and also see the expanded movement places that bots get through the Waypoints mod. And it'll become a little bit more clear just how the Donuts mod actually works. And I'll actually show that you can customize it as well. Sorry, I thought I heard something, but I was not hearing anything. I think that might have actually been in real life, which is a bit more terrifying in a different way. Oh, there's that guy over there, and it sounded like he was fighting with someone. I wonder if this counts for the barracks total. I'll head over to the rail yard next to check those numbers. Jeez, that was terrifying. Forced SPT jump scare. Got him. Sheesh. What did he have? An MP5. Must have been spent. He was shooting me with his Glock 17. Solomon. Demery. If the MP5 isn't in bad shape, I think I'll take it. The total tells me there are a few over here in the rail storage. Still a total of 15. It's definitely remaining right between 15 and 20 for the grand total, it looks like. I think any more than that, and this match would become pretty hard to sustain. He was not ready for me to take the flank this way. Got him. I think. Oh wow, I see it just tossed him down. Oh man, I'm completely dehydrated. I spent too long trying to demonstrate. It's alright, I'll just have something to drink. I suppose I should also eat something too. I'll eat this. The count also tells me that there are a few bots underground as well. Oh, there's already some fighting in here, as you can see. And some looting, moreover. Oh! That was kind of scary. This guy was just standing here. Now only one left. Was he the one? Wow, did he get downstairs that fast? Oh god, this low frame rate. We're down to 12 bots now. So that's a bit easier on the system. Alright, he's probably on the floor below. Oh. Wow. He's just sprinting around the stairway. I don't hear him anymore. Where'd he get to? Man, don't you hate it? You never want to have to chase like that. So dangerous. And we're back up to 15 bots, as you can see in the top right. So the spawn waves are indeed working. Donuts is functioning. What do you know? I got him. It was phenomenally violent, but it was effective also. Down to 14 bots. Right, it's getting dark on the reserve map here. I'm going to load into a fresh raid here on the same map, and see how the settings that we changed a little bit earlier take effect. We should see more bots, and then after that one I'm going to tune it down so that we get even less bots than that, to see if I can increase my performance. Okay, here we go. A fresh raid in the reserve map. Like I said before, I'm expecting the totals to be higher this time. We'll wait just a few moments for those numbers to actually come in. While that happens, I'm going to come into the Waypoints menu and come down here to see, let's see here, the advanced settings. I toggled those off. I'm going to enable the debug markers, and I'm going to leave this one disabled for right now. We'll see that for a second. And then I want to come up to the Waypoints mod and enable, let's see here, show nav mesh. There it is. So as you can see right here on the ground, everything that's purple is the nav mesh that is the Waypoints mod. So the Waypoints mod increases the amount of area in the maps that bots can access, meaning that it gives them expanded patrol routes and makes it so that they can walk in more places around the game. The vanilla version of the game, Vanilla Tarkov, has far, far fewer than that. Oh, check that out. There's a bunch of information that popped up down there in the bottom right. So as I approach these donuts markers, it tells me all the stuff that's actually live about it. All the information is right down there in the bottom. It reflects all the settings that we have affected in the Waypoints menu. And it's a spawn site for bots, basically, as you can see here. So Waypoints makes it so that bots can travel farther across the maps, and Donuts adds more spawn points on that nav mesh. Alright, we're already up to 19 bots. And I imagine that they are of, oh my gosh, more dangerous varieties than quiet raids. It's safe to say that I am in trouble. I'll just go ahead and run in here. There's some more spawn markers in here, as you can see. More potential places for bots to spawn. Let's use the free cam. And of course it's going to be really slow because the extra objects added by the nav mesh and the spawn markers are live. But all of the places here, as you can see, are those where bots can travel. It's expanded greatly from Vanilla Tarkov. It's not all necessary. As you can see, there's a bunch of areas that are set up in places where you wouldn't expect to be able to walk, like on rooftops and stuff like that. But you could make a spawn point in these places, and the nav mesh would enable the bots to move along those these rooftops and strange areas like that. So you could even set up a bot to be up here on this the roof of the train station, for example, to make use of this machine gun. And if we look in here, in the advanced settings you can set a key to create and delete a spawn marker, so a new place for bots to spawn in. And let me see here if I can just, I guess I'll use J for right now. And I'll use Control J to delete the spawn point. Let's see here, I'll move my character up to this spot and then hit J. Ah, there we go. I now see that that created a spawn point there. The custom spawn point is marked by the cube as opposed to the sphere, of course. So this will have a spawn type of PMCs, it looks like. And that would add a chance for a bot to come up here and operate this machine gun. So as you can see, there are spawn sites all over the map. Each one of them are there for you to see, and you can configure them down if you really wanted to and become very, very specific with each of these. But I have not found that necessary. It's good to have a good variety of them. And I think that the mod works splendidly well. I really haven't had any problems with it. As usual, there's a lot of activity in the barracks. I think I still have some MP5 ammunition left. I do. Oh god, the lower performance really makes that motion blur not look so great, huh? There's another one of those markers. It's so handy how it pops up with that information there. If you're ever curious, you know, you can just walk around and see where all the bots can spawn in, what types can spawn there. Where is he shooting at me from? He's over there, but there's still somebody else out there too. Up to 22 bots now. Yeah, impossible raids, I'll say so. Let's see here. Back in the donut settings. I'm going to select another one. We're going to go to quiet raids for sure. Let's see here. Do I want to use quiet raids or the random quiet raids? I think I'll just choose quiet raids for the next one. And then we'll see how that operates without the random quality, without any of the extra random presets within the quiet raids library. Oh, someone just stepped out. 21 bots, lots of fighting. It's kind of weird to see those spawn markers just out there, isn't it? Very, very debug indeed. Whoa, there's that guy. That seems to have done the trick. Oh wow, somebody else up there, you see that? I think they got him. Down to 20 bots now. That got him. The classic ploy, gotta shoot their foot to draw them out. Total of 19 bots at this point. There's just guys everywhere. Whoa! Somebody with a flashlight. They're really fighting for that building. Wow. This guy really means to kill him. I hit him with a much higher caliber than he was throwing at me. Down to 19 bots now. Oh god, the performance. All these bots and their activity. Really tanking my performance quite a bit. If you're curious, I always keep my computer specs in the descriptions of my videos. Down to 16 now. Man, that's a lot of bots. Impossible Raids definitely guarantees a lot of spawns. We may have to do a control and show what the factory map is like on a lower intensity setting. But for now, let's load into the next raid. Like you saw before, I selected the Quiet Raids preset. And we expect to see much lower consistent numbers for the spawn totals. We'll be back in just a few. Okay, a fresh raid on the reserve map. With the quiet raid scenario selected this time. Whoa, huge stutter. Oh my god, a monumental stutter. The reserve map is a very demanding one. It's very large, there's a lot of things in it, and a huge potential for spawns. As long as it's not as intense as the previous raid, I'd call this a success, but I think that in general... Uh-oh. The possibility for action is just a lot higher on the reserve map in general. Now, I could also decrease the aggression of all the bots, like, in general, across the board, so that they would be less likely to fight one another. And that would also improve my performance. And it would also, of course, reduce, you know, the amount of infighting that happens, so that there would be more bots for me to contend with as an actual player. Only 3 zones with bots this time, up to 15. I suppose that's on par for the reserve map. There's that guy. I'm seeing the numbers, but I'm not actually running into these bots very much. Certainly not like the last raid. And 20, wow, okay. I anticipated that the quiet raid would involve far fewer spawns than that. Oh wow, check that out. There's a bot over by the helicopter. The crashed helicopter mod, of course. If he were successful at getting into it, there's a large cache full of items inside, but it doesn't seem like he was able to get the door open. Wow, it's reading 11 bots at the barracks. That's a lot. They aren't all fighting with each other. I think he just went inside. And then there's that one moving over there. If found someone to fight. And I just heard that footstep off to the right, too. Oh, there's that guy. Sounds like I got him. The total is still at 17. I think maybe the numbers aren't being replenished as quickly as the last raid. Is he just down there stuck opening and closing the door? Yes, he is. He's deranged! Whoa! Okay. And there was that guy there. I like how I happened to come into the doorway just as he was about to open that thing up and come out. So fortunate. For me, that is. Up to 18 now. But I've had so few encounters as I've tried to run around. There's one. Looks like I shot him directly in his ballistics helmet and he died. So, it looks like 2 more came in. Still getting a lot of activity. 20 bots, wow. Well, I admit, the number is definitely higher than I anticipated there being here on the reserve map for a quiet raid scenario. However, I myself am not getting as much action. I'm not having as many encounters. And it doesn't sound like there's as much gunfire either. So this almost seems kind of normal, maybe more normal for the reserve map. I think what we'll do is this. First of all, I'm going to remember that I can actually vault up on top of the car by doing that, and then up into the building this way. And then we're going to move into a raid in the factory map to see what kind of numbers we get in there. Right, let's check out the factory really quickly. Same situation, the quiet raids preset. Let's run around for a few minutes and see just what the spawns are like in here. Only 4 so far. Of course, performance should be much better, just in general on this map as things are. Wow, that guy opened fire immediately. It sounds like I got him though with my pot shots. Down to 3, I can hear that guy. Well, it's definitely a very quiet raid in general, if I hadn't been, like, walking around very brazenly before. So that's good. Maybe the values on the reserve map are just too high. And like I said, it is possible to go in and edit those spawn points on each of the maps, and also to edit the values for each of the maps. It really comes down to your preference and what you need for your, first of all, for your skill level, and second of all, for whatever quests and skills you're trying to go for. Still no new spawns. It's right there at 3. He died right away, holy crap. Down to 2. And they aren't even in the same zone. Or are they? I guess that doesn't really say. Bot zone 2. I'm not entirely sure what that means. And I've gotten all the way over here without any new spawns. So the metrics per map are definitely very influential in terms of how many bots are spawned per wave and how often they come in. Also the group spawn chance and also the boss spawn chance, what's more. Oh yeah, very little activity. I don't even know where this other guy is. He's just sort of hidden away. As you can see, since there's so little activity, I was about to say, my performance is really good. I think a good idea now would actually be to flip the scenario again. Let's go back to an Insane Raids preset, load back into the factory map, and see how things have changed. Alright, back into the factory with an Impossible Raid scenario selected. And already, the numbers are instantly higher. I saw 11 before all the gunfire started happening. Wow, that change was instant and easy to demonstrate. Oh my god, there was a lot of guys. Just not go out there for a second, right? Oh, gotta reload. Instantly, much more action. These bots are being replenished much more frequently. The Impossible Raids preset is much more active than Quiet Raids, for sure. Alright, so, that's right, this is just the minimum spawn distance per map. So, I know that, in the actual config files for this mod, there are specific per map, values that you can modify. And unfortunately, I can't show any of that, but, like I said, read the mod description. It will instruct you on how to find and also modify all that stuff. And you may never actually find the need to do that. You may find that just using the presets in Donuts does exactly what you want. And once you know how to select the scenario that you want, and set the caps that you would like to play with, and reduce the amount of spawns, I'm sure... Oh my gosh! There's so much going on. I'm sure that you'll find the mod has more than enough to offer on its own without having to customize too much. I definitely don't think that anything is ostensibly like problematic, like over the top, unable to play with or anything like that out of the box. Like when you just load in the mod, all of its default settings are okay. I think that for performance sake they should be reduced a little bit, just like I talk about in other videos. But to, for example, I think that it's unimmersive to super increase the number of bots that spawn into SPT. I think that lower numbers tend to be better. Not always for survivability or anything like that, necessarily, but for immersion, you know what I mean? Just so that it doesn't seem like I'm spending, in a 0 to hero run for example, all my hard-earned resources on killing when I need to be looting or exploring or carrying out quests and stuff like that. I don't necessarily want it to be primarily a shooter. Oh my gosh, all that stuttering. When I'm trying to run the quests and do a storyline sort of approach to the game. I got him. It seemed pretty dangerous, and that's because it was. You should not be playing like I am right now, not normally anyways. I find that the approach to Tarkov that's more PvP and like running around and doing a whole lot of snap shooting and everything to be a little bit too stressful, with the mechanics as cool and intricate as they are in Escape from Tarkov, so being able to tone down the amount of spawns is usually very beneficial for me, and I like to do that, especially, like I said, for performance. And if you've tried everything, you've tried to reduce the graphics, you've used the declutterer mod, you're using SVM to like reduce the amount of loot and raids and stuff like that, and you're still not able to get the performance up, then I suggest you use Donuts and try to reduce the amount of spawns available to your raids each time you play. Because, wow, that was extreme. I think he was about to like do the overhead fire animation for some reason. Definitely try that. It may be the thing that helps you. And of course, if you want some more information on all that stuff, like I said, read the mod page. So, hopefully this has been able to demonstrate how the SWAG+Donuts mod works to some extent. Trust me, there's a lot more to it. It's a deep and intricate overhaul mod. It's extremely useful. Your interfacing with it can be very specific, and you can set up exactly the type of scenario that you want for yourself with a little bit to quite a lot of work depending on what you're about to do. And I'm pretty much out of ammunition for all this, so I guess I'll be cutting it short here. Let me know if you want to see anything else demonstrated down in the comments below. I'll be sure to... Whoa, there's another guy there that I didn't even see. Yeah, this is like way too intense for Tarkov. This is like a different shooter altogether. I'd feel like I was Superman if I was this PMC right now, holy moly. And that's all my AK rounds. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe. Find us in the Club StarVox Discord server for more information. As they get updated, I'll have more videos on the Big 3 and the other important mods that I like to cover and feature here on this channel. I haven't decided exactly what's up next. I have a few different ideas for my next video, and I've been working on some different concepts, so we'll see what happens. I hope this was informative for you. It's always helpful for me to be able to keep up on these mods as well, and I'll see you in the next video.